What sucks about being a man? 5 years ago, my life changed in a second when my abusive and violent wife snapped. She attacked me while I was holding our toddler, and our baby was in the crib. I grabbed my son and drove to my dad's house in another state, hoping to keep us safe. Not long after the police called, she'd reported that I'd attacked her, stolen the car, and kidnapped our son. I told them my side, thinking they'd understand, but they told me to come back to New York and check in with the detective. So I did and was arrested on the spot. I spent the night in jail, charged with domestic violence. The court slapped a restraining order on me, banned me from seeing my kids, and refused to let me return home. I lost everything I owned, including my medical equipment. I had to start from scratch, so I got a small place, bought clothes, and tried to make a fresh start. The court also ordered me to attend an expensive and weekly domestic violence class for over a year. The class was strict. Even if you missed even one session, you were cut from the classes and reported to the police. They also only talked about men hurting women. When anyone asked about women being violent, they get called out for blaming the victim, so I kept quiet about my story. Then they stole almost my whole salary for child support. I barely had enough for food and rent. I also had diabetes, so I went without meals and had to skip my medication just to keep up with the payments. When I couldn't afford the class fee for 1 week, I was kicked out and threatened with jail. I had to stop taking my meds altogether just to get by. After 2 years of this, I finally won 2 hours of visitation every Saturday. But by the time I saw my youngest son, he already took his first steps, turned 3, and started talking. I missed all of it, but the abuse still didn't stop. One time I showed up and she blocked the door, screaming at me in front of the neighbors. She kicked me in my groin, so I called the police. They told me to walk it off. I fought every step, talking to lawyers, joining support groups, trying to tell my story, but my lawyer finally told me to plead guilty. Going to trial would destroy me. I took the advice and ended up getting another year of that class. Life's still tough, but I'm holding on. Girlfriend announced, "I'm moving in with my ex to co-parent better. You'll understand someday." I said, "Absolutely." Then I helped her pack and drove her there myself. What I left in their mailbox made her ex kick her out within 48 hours. I was with Jessica for 2 years. She had a daughter, Emma, 6 years old, and I treated that kid like my own. Pancake Saturdays, bedtime stories, bike rides in the park, even monster checks under the bed before lights out. She'd squeeze my hand and whisper, "Greg, you're the best." That was my world. Then 3 weeks ago, Jessica sat me down, dead serious. "Greg, I've been thinking about Emma's well-being. Nate and I decided it's best if we live together again." Her ex. I laughed. Thought it was a joke. Nope, she was serious. Told me it was temporary, just until Emma was more stable. And here's the kicker. She wanted us to keep dating. Said I could still see her on weekends, but not sleep over. I'd be the side boyfriend while she played house with her ex. So I smiled, nodded, told her she was right. Hell, I even offered to help her pack. For a week, I was perfect. Supportive. Bought moving boxes. Wrapped dishes. Labeled Emma's toys. Jessica kept hugging me, saying, "This is why I love you. You get it. Modern families are complicated." She had no idea I was planning my own move. While folding her sweaters, I found a folder in her closet, labeled legal docs, custody agreements, child support papers, and printed text messages between her and Nate. Conversations like, "Greg's too useful right now. He paid for Emma's dance classes. We'll figure the Greg situation out later." What a sucker. I made copies of everything. Moving day came. I rented a U-Haul out of my own pocket, packed every last box. Nate leaned in the doorway smirking like he'd won. "Thanks for understanding, bro. Takes a real man to put the kid first." "Oh, I agree," I said. "Kids should always come first." Jessica kissed me goodbye in the driveway. "I'll call you tomorrow for date night." Nate was watching from the window like he'd just scored the championship. I drove away, but not home, straight to their mailbox. Slipped in copies of the custody docs, Nate's $18,000 in unpaid support, and every screenshot of them trashing me with a sticky note. "Hey Nate, maybe ask Jessica about your performance issues. Also, Carla might want to know about that back support." Already sent her copies. "Greg, the performance issues bit? Total bluff. Didn't matter. Paranoia does the rest." 6 a.m. the next morning, Jessica calls screaming. "What did you do?" "Nate's losing it. He says you sent him something." "I just packed some paperwork. Thought it was important. Guess he found it interesting." She hung up, then called back, crying. "He's kicking me out. He says I violated the custody agreement by moving in while still dating you. He's threatening court." Wow, who could have seen that coming? Then Nate calls me. "You think you're clever?" "No, I think I'm single." "And you're broke." Later that day, Carla, his ex-wife, called. "Is this real? The $18,000? The hidden income?" Every word. Her laugh was pure evil. "That bastard told me he was broke. My lawyer's gonna destroy him." "Thank you, Greg. This pays for my kid's Disney trip." The fallout spread like wildfire. Nate's wages got garnished. Judge gave him 30 days to pay the $18,000 or face jail. His custody reduced to supervised only. He had to put his house up for sale. Jessica tried crawling back. Showed up at my door, car stuffed with boxes, Emma strapped in the back seat. "Greg, please, just a few days." For Emma. "What happened to co-parenting?" "He's paranoid. Thinks I told you about his private issues." "Did you?" She froze. I shut the door. That night she posted on Facebook. "Some men punish children for adult problems. Fake fathers show their true colors." I posted a screenshot of her and Nate calling me a sucker. Caption, "Imagine thinking your boyfriend's just a wallet with legs." Her post disappeared in an hour. Meanwhile, Carla's lawyer ripped Nate apart in court. He had to sell the house at a loss. Jessica moved back in with her parents, working 2 jobs just to scrape by. She started posting rise from the ashes quotes with blurry selfies. Nobody cared. Then Emma's school counselor called. "Mr. Greg, she misses you. Would you be okay with letters?" First one I got. "Dear Greg, Mom says you don't love us anymore, but I don't believe her. Do you still remember our handshake? I miss pancake Saturdays. Love, Emma." I kept every letter. Wrote back every time through the counselor. Last week I drove past Nate's old place. The house Jessica swore was her fresh start. It's gone. Sold. A new family lives there now. Rainbow flag in the window. Love wins sign in the yard. Kids' bikes scattered on the porch. That house was supposed to be Jessica's fresh start. Now it's just another place she'll never belong. Ads. What was your don't tell mom about this moment? Mine happened when my daughter was 7 and almost got us both in serious trouble. My wife is deathly allergic to shellfish. Like, carries 2 EpiPens everywhere and has been hospitalized 3 times kind of allergic. Because of this, we had one absolute rule in our house. No seafood, ever. Not even in restaurants if my wife was meeting us later. Too risky. My daughter understood this completely.
She'd seen her mom's throat close up once when a restaurant messed up, and it terrified her. But kids are kids, and when my daughter's best friend brought coconut shrimp to their school potluck, she couldn't resist trying one. Just one. I got the call from school around noon. Your daughter is complaining about her tongue feeling funny and her lips looking puffy. My heart nearly stopped. I knew exactly what was happening. When I got there, her lips were definitely swelling, but not dangerously yet. The school nurse wanted to call an ambulance, but I panicked thinking about my wife finding out. She just needs Benadryl, I insisted against my better judgment. I'll take her home. I gave her the Benadryl I kept in the car, watched her like a hawk for an hour, and thankfully the symptoms started to fade. She was fine, just tired from the medication. That's when the real problem hit me. If my wife saw her puffy face, she'd know immediately, and she'd absolutely lose it that I didn't take our daughter to the ER for her first allergic reaction. I told my daughter she needed to take a nap, hoping the swelling would go down completely. Then I frantically started looking up how to reduce facial swelling, ice packs, elevation, anti-inflammatory cream that I slathered on her still puffy cheeks. Nothing was working fast enough. My wife would be home in 2 hours. I called my sister, a nurse, in complete panic mode. After chewing me out for not going to the hospital, she suggested a cold cucumber mask might help with the residual puffiness. So there I was, with my drowsy 7-year-old lying on the couch with cucumber slices all over her face, still slightly puffy, when my wife walked in 2 hours early. "What's happening?" she asked, looking at the bizarre scene. My daughter, still loopy from Benadryl, proudly announced, "We're doing spa day because I ate a shrimp and got puffy." I watched all the color drain from my wife's face. "You what? And you didn't call me? Or go to the hospital?" Her voice was deadly quiet. I tried explaining that it was mild, that I monitored her closely, that I had it under control, but my wife just picked up our daughter, cucumber slices falling everywhere, and drove straight to the pediatrician's office. I spent the night on the couch. For a week, my wife barely spoke to me. What hit hardest was when she finally said, "I thought we were partners in keeping her safe. Now I know I can't trust you with that." The pediatrician confirmed my daughter had developed a shellfish allergy, not as severe as my wife's, but real. We now had to carry EpiPens for both of them. The strange twist? My wife's allergist explained that children often develop allergies similar to their parents through shared genetics. If we hadn't discovered it in this controlled way, her first reaction might have been much worse, possibly at a friend's house with no one knowing what was happening. 3 months later, my wife admitted that while I should have gone to the ER, finding out about the allergy early might have prevented something catastrophic. My daughter's now 12, and whenever shellfish comes up, my wife still gives me this look. Not quite forgiveness, not quite anger, but something in between that reminds me how quickly I could have lost everything trying to avoid getting in trouble. Turns out, some things you absolutely should tell mom about, no matter how scared you are of the consequences.